Talk Radio.
And just like that, we're into the after show. So, you were talking about this, and everybody, shh, we're not going to tell everybody that doesn't get to hear it. So, I'm kidding. But anyway, you were discussing people, using demon names and things of that nature. So, would you please continue your thought, Kevin?
I'm trying to remember where exactly I was going with my last statement, and I don't remember.
Well, we were talking about, people who use the names and basically they're trying to invoke, right?
Oh.
So, and then, like, I was using that name, but I was basically calling it out because I don't think it really was one, to be honest, because there wasn't.
What I was saying. Okay. Yeah. Like if we hear a name of a greater, let's say, oh, that's one of the 7 princes of hell or something like that. And you're thinking, what are the odds, right?
Right.
That this family is going to have one of the 7 princes of hell in its home. Okay.
Yeah, what have they been doing in the after hours, right?
Well, what people got to understand is that these 7 princes each have like, thousands, maybe millions of demons under them.
Yeah.
Okay? Because it's very much a hierarchy. I mean, it's
like a military ranking.
Yes.
Right.
So, if you get a heavy name, it may not be that entity itself, but it's got the power of, or it serves that would be the one it's under, for an example, and by calling that name out, it kind of brings attention to the whole legion in a sense.
Yeah. Right.
So. And again, you're going back to, I guess it would depend on the time and place. I mean, yeah, it would depend on the situation, but certainly I don't find myself repeating names.
No.
Or like if we're listening to something, like we study and we'll watch like lectures on YouTube and stuff. Or just presentations, the things people make and stuff. And sometimes you'll get somebody that's saying something over and over. Or it's just like, can you turn that down for a minute? Or you're watching something, you realize, oh great, they're filming a spell of something.
Right.
Right. And you hear them go, it's like, let's just turn this down for a minute because I don't want this frequency in our living room at the moment. We could turn it back up after they're done with the but like we don't need to actually hear the particular spell to understand that these villagers are doing this spell.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Stuff like that.
Right.
Where it's just like, oh, I'm just going to turn that down.
Yeah.
Better safe than sorry. And just leave it at that.
Right, and it's like the same thing with studies, and I'm going to tell everybody this too that's listening. Just by studying on this subject, you're getting your hands on knowledge that the general public has no way of normally getting their hands on. And you're doing everything you can to find out about these beings. And I found that through my studies, I literally have to step away and take breaks because if I don't, I'll get visitations from these things. I may not see them, but I can tell you when they're there by sense. And it's kind of that saying, once one knows you, they all know you.
I've heard that. Is that true?
Yeah, very. You got to realize they were around before we were created. They know everything about every single one of us and how this planet works from the time of our births up until and beyond.
And they're well connected. I remember demonic, we'll say demonic propaganda would have everybody be singular to where we're not connected. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
Like,
no support
but they
systems.
themselves are very connected. They're spiritual beings.
Yeah.
So they're not subject to the same, I guess, laws of physics or whatever, however you'd want to. I mean, they can become human, right? That's what we hear. That there are cases where angels have taken on the appearance of humans.
Right.
and we've heard stories of people saying they met somebody they thought was the devil, that kind of thing, you know. So who's to say, right? You know, but go ahead.
What I want to say again, you know, for anybody out there who's listening that may be interested, if you want to research it, that's totally up to you. I'm not going to tell you not to. Just know when to step away. Because if you don't take breaks when you're researching and you'll get too buried into that and you're not focusing on anything else, you're going to be attracting these things' attention. And it's going to happen every time you pick up on something to read about them.
And you know, I can say the same thing for the conspiracy stuff. Because the conspiracy stuff, you got to understand that these secret societies and stuff, they base all their stuff on esoteric, secret writings, teachings, knowledge, that kind of thing. And their whole energy is dark. So when you're finding out information on them, you're basically studying their political policies and stuff. I mean, it's the same thing where, you know, I find that I have to step away too from a little bit, you know, during different periods, you know, just to balance my own
your well-being.
Chi out or
your well-being.
Right, get that all. Yeah, it's just, you know, step away from it for a little bit and then you get back to it. But yeah, I mean, to immerse yourself 100% of the time is not healthy.
No, not at all.
Well, it's not. And I mean, y'all know what I went through in April starting this, right? And that it has been difficult on occasion. But I would find myself not able to leave the computer because it was like I had to get it done. I had to get it right that day. And it made me a wreck. And I cannot even imagine. And I do feel like there was some activity some energy being directed. And I'm not sure about casting and stuff because I don't do that. So I don't know what that feels like to feel like somebody's doing that, but I did feel that way. And, you know, probably it was just me being overwhelmed or, you know, things like that. But it was still frustrating. I cannot imagine working in a field, Kevin, when you're doing your conspiracy research. Are you online?
Well, yeah.
And
I won't go into the internet.
Well, no.
Or the dark web or whatever.
Well, no, but I'm just curious because, you know, even if you're in Google or wherever, then you're being tracked through that.
Oh, yeah, we're already on the list.
Yeah, you type in our names, you'll find us on Google.
Yeah.
We're, you know, as far as that goes, yeah, we're truthers.
Right.
You know, that's just what we are. We're loving light. We're light workers. We're servants of the greater good.
Right.
And we're truthers, and
yeah,
you know, we love and respect God and life and liberty and you know, do unto others as you'd have done to yourself, and the 10 Commandments, karma, laws of karma, covenant with God, all that. So, of course, yeah, I mean, we have stuff blocked. We end up in Facebook jail.
Yeah, we've been on radio.
All our friends have been demonetized.
Right, we've been doing radio shows for almost 5 years now, and we've had at least maybe 2 instances spread over the years where we were talking about stuff that we shouldn't have been. That was conspiracy theory. That we literally got hacked by the government during 2 shows. We
had Derek Tyler on once.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I remember Derek Tyler.
Yeah.
And he was talking about.
He had a friend who was a medium, and this was going back when Obama was in office and the government was shut down. She decided she was going to do a remote viewing session and see if she could find out what was going on. When he was explaining all of this, we got hacked, and you got like the screen started flashing, all these weird numbers and symbols. It was
the weirdest
letters.
Thing, right?
And when we came back online, we were just silent on the software we were using to produce the show. Everybody just lost us for a second, but our stream was still live.
Really?
Yeah.
I had that happen from ghosts in a jail once. recently. But
So we're talking with Daryl, and all of a sudden, like, we have this big screen that's hooked up to Jennifer's computer.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, the computer, like, itself, the computer goes,
Weird, right?
just like this really super loud. I didn't even know the computer could make that sound.
No.
And while this is going on,
Right.
all of a sudden,
flashing on the screen.
the screen goes black. Then all these red and white numbers pop up on the screen in like weird codes and stuff, and then they start flying up like you're watching credits go really fast.
Weird.
It was the weirdest thing.
Right.
Well, like, I thought the computer was crashing, and then, like she said, next thing you know, we're back and everything is just regular.
Right.
It's like we didn't even lose connection and everything.
Right.
It's like, what the heck just happened?
And then 2 years ago, our second incident was it's like Kevin stated earlier, we had William Wycrow on, and he was on somebody else's show a week or two before, and he was talking about the secret space program because that was one of the topics we were covering.
right.
And all of a sudden, me and Kevin and the producer at the time and people in chat kept hearing this beeping noise. You couldn't figure out where it was coming from. Okay, William Wycrow had no idea. He couldn't hear it. We were only ones being able to hear it, and people in chat, and they were asking what the beeping sound was. And as soon as we stopped talking about the secret space program, the beeping stopped completely and went away.
But of course, that's not possible, right?
Right. I made the joke over here saying that whoever it was left their burrito in the microwave and needed to take it out.
That's pretty good. I like that.
But yeah, those were literally the 2 times that we've been
experienced. There's been a couple times where we had like glitches and stuff, and everyone jokes it's a ghost and stuff.
Right.
And who knows, right? I mean, we do in this kind of work, like I said, we have people that come to our office. We've had people come to our office that they'll find. We had one lady. She said that she had an attachment, but it couldn't come inside the office. We've had other people bring people that they say they can't come inside our office.
No.
And the only thing I can think of is that because we do, we smudge with frankincense and myrrh and nag champa and sage and close with God and the prayers and to us this house is blessed. I mean, this is a temple of the greater good.
Right.
And I would like to think, that if, any negative would have a hard time in this vibration.
Yeah, and then we've had one incident of high strangeness one time when we physically had somebody come over to the resource center here a couple of years ago for a meeting. This guy brings over, and you remember this, military maps for bases, sitting there asking if we know about all the bases, whether they were active or not, and if we wanted to explore them, he could get us in. Now, when he did this, like, red flags were popping up.
Well, absolutely.
And he just said no, and this guy said he was a vet. He created a fake profile. The number he had was fake, and we know this because we had did an investigation the following weekend, and he wanted to go. And then when we called him, he said that he couldn't make it, and he would go next time because his wife, and his kids were sick. Well, we didn't hear from him after that. And we went to try and contact him. The number didn't work, and the profile on Facebook was completely wiped, like he didn't even exist.
She didn't give you the first part of that.
You have to go to the first part. Sorry.
She cut in like halfway through that story. This guy approached us. He wants to join the society, is what it was. And, for anybody joining, we look at them, and for what he had up on social media, seemed okay. Just a regular guy doing, living in town, works, all that. So we said, well, why don't you come to a meeting and check it out? And, see what you think. So he shows up for this meeting, and right away he starts asking us, like, hey, do you guys, investigate, closed military stuff down, or, old, military bunkers or that kind of thing, and just, not unless, it's haunted or something. There's a reason to bring us there, And then he was talking about, I want to, check this place out. And that's when he pulled out his map, and we're just kind of like, oh boy.